Bailey Johnson, we'll start with you. Go ahead, Bailey.
Hi, Nikki. Obviously, Courtney's had some struggles at the one, and you used Blake there a lot tonight. What did she give you?
She made shots, I mean, for the most part, she didn't turn the basketball over. She got us into actions faster, and she just doesn't, Courtney's always searching shot, which she should, because that's what she's best at. Sometimes Blake, her only trouble at the point is because people play her so soft at times, she doesn't take shots that are there, but she did a good job tonight of just initiating offense and then spacing away and knocking open shots down. So that she was a huge part of our bench production, obviously, scoring 13 points, but it was timely threes, tonight. I mean, I thought between Blake's bench play and, Mo's second half activity, that was the difference in the game.
Doug Feinberg, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, congrats on the win.
Thanks. We needed it.
I know you did. I do. So how thrilling is it knowing that you weren't able to close out the last game against LA, but like tonight you guys are in another tight battle at the end and you made the plays to win it down the stretch?
Yeah, I think that's really important. Hanging on to a late win, battling back to a tie to go into the fourth after being down, 11 at the half. I think we chipped away at it, and when we took the lead, we still guarded. We gave up some shots that we wouldn't want to give up, but we only gave them one shot. There wasn't a whole lot of halftime speech about X's and O's. It was about heart. It was about toughness. It was about, basically they're pressuring the heck out of the basketball. They're denying one pass away. And if you guys were back in grade school, you just take the ball down the gut and make plays, but if you're going to let them take away one pass away and I can't run anything in the playbook, then we're not a professional basketball team. And so a lot of the halftime talk was just about being tougher, about saying, you've got to get open. If we need a reversal pass, there's no excuse to not get a reversal pass. And I think for the most part, we guarded hard. And, I don't have enough superlatives, when I talk about Betnijah Langley. I mean, 2 rebounds away from a triple-double, back-to-back games with double-digit assists. She's been so good. And we really wanted her to give, I know Crystal Dangerfield has been really, really good the last 5 games, but I wanted her pressuring the basketball and not letting her get early stuff, and I thought she did a good job.
Thanks, Coach.
Brandon Davis, go ahead.
Hi, Coach. Great win today. How does it feel, those towards the end of this stretch, you had some very important rebounds. So was that an emphasis for you this past couple of days, especially after the Sparks game, was rebounding, especially with Mo Billings and the others?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a group effort with us. We don't have a dominant defensive rebounder, and so it's a collective effort. And if you look at some of our breakdowns on the offensive glass, it hasn't been necessarily that our 4s and 5s aren't boxing. Sometimes it's 3s coming to the rim. Sometimes it's point guards that are getting caught on a ball screen and our post, has to contest and the post goes free down the lane line. That's our point guard's got to chip that post, and so rebounding is a collective effort. It takes people boxing out and it takes free rebounders rotating and going and getting them, which is something that Courtney Williams is particularly good at, being a free rebounder and just searching long shots and going and cleaning up the glass. And so, you don't work on rebounding. I mean, you can in training camp. We did some rebounding stuff in training camp, but you can't practice. We just play game after game after game. And when we played an overtime game the other night, and put 40 minutes on a number of players, it's about recovery. It's about the ones that don't play, just getting some shots up. And it's a lot of film work. And so a lot of what we're talking about is verbal. It's, there's no schemes to grabbing a rebound. It comes down to how hard are you willing to work? Are you going to go get the ball? Are you going to think somebody else is going to go get it? And so, I mean, it's a toughness thing. We talk about rebounding and turnovers are a toughness thing. You just have to make the right play. You got to make the simple play. You can't turn the basketball over. You've got to have people getting open and you got to rebound. And I think once we started doing those 2 things, then we were in the game. But when you hand the team a bunch of points early, because you can't throw a pass to a pinch post, you don't look good. You don't look like a professional team. And so once we finally cleaned that up, we found a way to grind all night.
Edwin Powell, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, congrats on the win. Even the last two games, and including today, it seems like you guys are just seeming to click. It seems like the energy is kind of intensified. Is there something that is kind of clicking a little bit more now than that wasn't clicking a little bit earlier on for this team?
Well, I mean, I can make this super simple for everyone. Like, I don't know that this team, had we not had a pandemic, had we had a real training camp and a normal 36-game schedule, I'm not sure this team would have been good in June. I mean, you're talking about 10 new players on the team, and that doesn't include not having Tiffany Hayes and not having Renee Montgomery and some of the key pieces to like this organization. And so I think this team was always going to be in a growth mode. We knew it was going to be a process. We always expected to be playing our better basketball late. Then you throw in a pandemic and you throw in having 3 players with COVID. Like, we're getting better because we're practicing in games. Like, that's what we're doing. We don't have practice. We never got to have a practice with Glory Johnson or Courtney Williams or Kalani Brown, not one. And so our practice is games. We're getting better because our players are learning each other, and when you look at like our assist numbers and, once again, the last game we were 27 assists on 33 baskets. Tonight, 23 assists on 32 baskets. We're learning to move the basketball. We're learning to share the basketball. We're not making every shot. We missed some chippies around the rim. We're missing some open shots. Courtney missed some open shots from the perimeter. But we're moving the basketball and we're finding each other because that's our only opportunity to grow is when we play. And so we have to treat games as growth opportunities and learning to play together. So, I'm not making excuses for, I mean, I certainly think we could have been better at the beginning, but people don't understand how hard it is to have 3 players join your team after training camp has started when you're not allowed to practice. I mean, and let me say, when there is no time to practice. So, I mean, we're just trying to talk it through and figure it out and watch a lot of film and find a way to get better.
And Michelle Vopel, last question.
Yeah, Coach, great win today. Other than getting Kennedy back, what do you think is the biggest key for you guys? Because actually the playoffs are not out of the question. I mean, you look at the standings and you guys go on a run and you could do that. What is the biggest key, to doing, what you hope to do the rest of the way through?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Like, I think we've figured out how to move the basketball. It's defend, rebound, and take care of it. I mean, it sounds so simple. It's not. But, I mean, we're at the point where we're down to, everyone's a second game, where we have to make adjustments based on the first game. Where were we good? Where were we not good? Are we dialed in? And then we just have to have that toughness factor, because if you guard people, you give them one shot, and you take care of it, you're going to put yourself in a situation where you can win a basketball game. Are you going to win them all? No. But this team, they really stepped up to the challenge because I'm sure if people were around, they heard me at halftime. I mean, there was absolutely zero, this is what we're running, here's what we're doing. It was simply, I can't throw the playbook away because you don't want to get open. Like, getting open is a want-to problem, And so there are no excuses. And so it's simple things like that, of taking care of the basketball, getting open, and letting people have one shot. And when we did that in the second half, we climbed back into the game, we continue to move the basketball, and then we're going to compete, I mean, I'm all about just competing, and putting a team out on the floor that wants to compete day in and day out.
All right, thanks, Coach. Erica Ayala, we'll start with you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Hey, Blake, congrats on the win. I wanted to ask you kind of what the charge was from Coach during halftime. Both head coach Cheryl Reeve and then Coach Nikki Collin mentioned that she probably was a little bit loud. So I'm just wondering what the conversation was.
Yeah, she gave it to us. She got into us, but rightly so. She said we weren't playing with any toughness. We knew that Minnesota's a really, really physical team, and they want to come out and pressure you and make things difficult. And we kind of took it on the nose in the first half, but then I think in the second half we were the aggressor. We were punching back. We were making things difficult for them, and that's when the tide turned for us.
Doug Feinberg, go ahead.
Hey, Blake, congrats on the win. Just what does it say about this team? I mean, you had a similar game the other day, which you guys didn't pull out the victory, and you came back today and had a chance to not pull out, but you made the plays down the stretch to win. What does it say about the growth of this team?
Yeah, I think Nikki just said it really well. We're practicing during games. It's kind of crazy that is the situation that we're in, but because we're so new and because we had people out for so long, we're really having to learn on the fly. And I think we're starting to click, and we're starting to figure each other out and know what we're doing. And it's a maturity thing as well, to be able to finish out a game against a really tough team. And I think that it shows that we've got some.
Michelle Vopel, go ahead.
Like you said, coach is saying you guys are still learning because you don't have that much time to practice. But if you were going to pinpoint what you think is the most important thing you guys do going forward in the next couple of weeks, what do you think it is?
I think we just need to keep moving the ball and playing as a team. I think when the ball sticks, and I'm guessing Nikki probably said this already, but when the ball sticks and doesn't move laterally and in transition, we don't play very well. But when we are moving the ball quickly, when the ball has energy, that's what coach says, the ball has energy, we play really well, and we play really well in transition. So resting so we can run, and then moving the ball and playing together as a team.
And Island Jowers, last question.
Hey, Blake, what did Coach Nikki want you to do this game, and how did you translate that onto the court?
As a team or me personally?
You personally.
We hadn't really talked much before the game, so I usually just watch film and try to figure out what I need to do better from the game before. So the goal for me was to take care of the ball, and if I'm open, shoot it. And I did a decent job, 2 turnovers, but other than that, yeah, I think if every single person on our team is aggressive and is looking to score, then we're better for it. If someone's afraid to shoot or afraid to look to score, then they don't have to be defended. So.
All right, thanks so much, Blake.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we've got Monique Billings here. We'll go ahead and start with you, Doug Feinberg. Go ahead.
Hey, Mo, nice win.
Hi, thank you.
Coach said that she gave a impassioned halftime speech that was more about not X's and O's, but just being basketball players and playing hard and such. And you had a great second half. Did you take it to heart, so to speak, that, you know what, this is something I can do, bring energy and do that standpoint to help you guys get the win?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she challenged us. She got into us at halftime, and so it motivated me, and I wanted to, at the end of the game, say that I did the best that I could. I rose up to the challenge, and I feel like as a team we did that.
Michelle Vopel, go ahead.
Monique, can you just talk about how, you know, Minnesota, I was just on their Zoom, and Cheryl Reed was really frustrated by the way that you guys were able to out-rebound in the biggest key moments. Do you feel like that was one of the biggest keys tonight, and will that be a big key going forward?
Absolutely. I mean, Minnesota is the #1 offensive rebounding team in the league, so that was our emphasis, to get them off the boards. We didn't execute in the first half, so that was a point of emphasis for the second half. And yeah, it was definitely important to get on the boards in order to secure the win.
Island Jowers, go ahead.
Hey, what do you think the main change was in the third quarter that helped get rid of the 14-point Minnesota lead?
I would just say our toughness. Like, Coach Nikki did challenge us at halftime. She really got into us, and it was frustrating for all of us. So you can either let that motivate you, or you feel down about it. But none of us, we were all motivated by what she has said to us, took the challenge to heart, and it was just about effort. We had to make a better effort.
And Edwin Powell, last question.
Congrats on the win, Monique. Just talk about how coaches said that you guys are kind of using your games as practice. Just talk about the maturation of you guys coming together as a team, and even these last 3 games, the last 2 games, even the games in defeat, you guys have looked much better. Just talk a little bit about that progression.
Yeah, I mean, we're finding our flow. We're learning each other. We're figuring each other out. We had a few people who weren't in training camp because of COVID, and it's just been a sped up process. So we had to learn on the fly,
and we're still figuring it out, but every single game, it definitely feels a lot better. So, yeah.
And right on cue, we've got Benaj Delaney here. If you have a question for her, go ahead and raise your hand. I'll call on you. Edwin Powell, we'll start with you. Go ahead.
Hey, Benaj, just talk about the feeling of finally getting the monkey off your back and getting back into the win column. How good does it feel? We see the smile flashing. It looks good on you.
Oh my goodness, yes. You know, it felt really good because we've been itching for a win. We've been right there in so many games. So to finally come together and pull it out, and like I said earlier, it was a real group effort. So it felt really good.
Yukiri Thomas, go ahead.
Okay, Carrie.
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
But Nigel, could you just, again, talk about your energy? I mean, just amazing game tonight.
You know, I just went out there and played. You know, I try to come out with the same energy every game, you know, regardless of the circumstances that we find ourselves in, playing every other day. You know, my recovery, everything I do has been way more than I've ever done in my life. So just trying to, you know, stay ready, doing everything I had to do off the court so that I can be ready on the court, and just bringing the energy that I can on both ends.
And Island Jowers, last question.
Hey, this is Aislinn Jowers from Beyond Women's Sports. Congrats on the win. Can you talk about Blake's energy off the bench and how she contributed to the team win?
You know, she comes in off the bench and she just gives us that spark, you know, on both ends as well. You know, she's aggressive. You know, she gets up into the offense, and you know, and often she just gives us that spark, whether it's those corner threes or, you know, getting in there and getting to the rim. So she's been great for us off the bench.